Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kia Savage and today we are talking about balance. So this topic came from one of my TikTok lives, and as you can see, 5:58 in the morning. So you probably already know where this is going. Basically, the conversation came up of how do I balance everything, being a wife, a friend, a sister, an aunt, and then having a day job, a part-time job, cooking, working out, plethora of things that go on throughout my day-to-day life, honestly. And I answered it with a quickness and I said I'll make a longer video because in all reality, there is no balance. And I was like so relieved to say that. It was like a weight being lifted off of my shoulder. People are looking for balance, and it's like you just have to do it, honestly. Like, if you're not willing to do it, you're really not gonna get far. And I'm not saying that in a mean way, I'm saying that in like a realistic way. Based off of where I was growing up, I'm from Philly, if a lot of you don't know. It's like a eat or be eaten type of environment. You can be successful in the city, it's just like the way you move, you got to be real strategic. This is going into a little childhood trauma. I shouldn't say that, but in all honesty, I didn't grow up really focusing on the emotional aspect of my life. Like, I didn't emotionally develop until later on. And when I say that, I mean like being able to describe what I'm feeling, understanding what feelings are, and when and how to express them in a positive way. I grew up thinking logically. Basically, if I were to give you an example, if I'm crying, my parents are like I'll give you something to cry about type of parents, at least at those times. I don't know about now. So when you grow up in that type of environment, you learn to shelter your emotions and protect them in a sense. And my parents always put me in a lot of extracurricular activities. So to me, it was normal to wake up. Sometimes I was late for school, okay. Sometimes I wouldn't do my homework, okay. But I still tried to grind. Like, when I was in that moment, and I had like that burst of motivation or that burst of discipline, I try to do as much as I can. So when we talk about balance, personally, I'm more of a prioritization type of person. And I've grown more into this. Like, I used to have a to-do list that was like 50 bullets, and I'm like, I gotta get all of this done today. And it's not realistic, sis. Like, you're literally setting yourself up for failure, which kind of sucks because then it extends into not being able to trust yourself. So if you tell yourself you're gonna go to the gym 7 times a day, I'm saying that because I'm wearing gym clothes. Look, the gym is always on my mind. If you're going to go to the gym 7 times a day and realistically you can only go 3, why are you setting yourself up for failure? It can be a eventual goal. You say, okay, this week I'm gonna start with 2 days a week. Let's go underneath what you can actually achieve. So then it's like you can build up responsibility and discipline and like reassurance within yourself. And it's like you go 2 days a week for like a month. And then it's like, wow, I really get the hang of it. Then you advance onto 3 days, 4 days, and eventually you will get to that 7 days. But if you're starting off trying to go from 0 to 100, you're gonna fall real quick. And I think that's what a lot of people have to understand. We get into decision fatigue and we overwhelm ourselves before we even start any task. And I'm definitely a victim to this too, which is why I can speak to it. What I've recently started to do, I don't even make a list sometimes, if I'm being honest. What I've recently started to do, if I do make a list, I might still write the 50 things on the to-do list. I know I'm not gonna get it done. So what I'll do is say, okay, if I'm waking up at 9 o'clock, let's be realistic, even though I wanna wake up at 7, and if I'm waking up at 9 o'clock, say, okay, wake up at 9 o'clock, the mall doesn't open till 11 o'clock on a Saturday. So that means I can get X, Y, and Z done in the house and then leave the house by 11 to still make my errands. And in that way, if you're like, oh, I have to go grocery shopping, I have to clean out the fridge, I have to vacuum and mop the floors, that's 3 things you're doing before 11 o'clock at least. And then the other thing is, when it comes to certain tasks, we can kind of like delegate those items. An example would be grocery shopping. If you don't like grocery shopping, personally, I shop at Walmart. You can do Walmart pickup. I will say it's not perfect every time. So I would also recommend, like, when you're receiving the groceries, to check your items on your app while they're putting them in your car. But it definitely does take the load off of you, like finding parking. What if it's raining? Going through each aisle. What if the lines are long? You see how fast we go through decision fatigue and overwhelm ourselves? It's like, girl, you literally got to get like 5 things off your list. What is going on? Another thing when I talk about balance is understanding what things are going to be done every day and then actually building that routine. So a habit you want to build could be making dinner every night instead of going out to eat, right? So let's say you go out to eat or you order takeout like 5 times out the week, right? And to some people that's normal. To me, that's a lot. Like, I'm eating out probably like twice a week. Some of those times maybe Chick-fil-A, some of those times maybe Domino's, or going to an actual restaurant. But I try to limit it to 2 times a week. When it comes to dinner, you have to think about why you're actually doing this. Are you doing this because you feel like when you eat out, you're not choosing the healthiest options, or it's not realistic based on your budget? So the first thing you can do is like try to recreate meals that you like. When it comes to cooking dinner, a lot of times what happens is we have leftovers. Some people don't like leftovers at all. We kind of meal prep, so we do eat leftovers, which isn't a big deal to us. You have to do what works for you. And ultimately, if I was to end this video right now, I would say that balance doesn't exist. Do what's right for you. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say that, but it's like, oh girl, I see you doing this, that, and that. Y'all saw how early it is in the morning. I gotta be work at 7. I'm gonna record this video this early, and then I'm telling myself to edit it tonight. The reason I'm able to edit it tonight is because Sunday I cooked dinner. I made a whole fillet of salmon, which was about 8 pieces. And then the only thing I have to cook today is like the vegetables and the sides. You don't have to make everything from scratch. So if dinner was made on Sunday, Monday I can edit. I can also schedule it for that Monday or schedule it for later in the week. And then when it comes to my TikTok videos, I'm doing that throughout the day. Sometimes I have pre-recorded videos. Sometimes I'll take content from my YouTube and then clip those down and then see if it can be reused for my TikTok. And other times I'm just tired and I don't get to it. When I don't get to it, I'm not gonna be upset at myself. Like, I may have like a little tiff in my mind, but I'm not. At least I won't verbally speak those words to say like, damn, I'm so X, Y, and Z. Like, I should have got this done. Blaming yourself for everything. Why are you so mean to yourself? Like, that's probably where we should start when it comes to how you find balance. Be nicer to yourself. At the end of the day, I knew I could have been a statistic in different ways. Being from North Philly, going to an elementary school that's a 1 out of 10. Yes, scored 1 out of 10, at least since I recently saw. Going to, if y'all know about Kensington and Allegheny, going to school around there, like catching public transportation at a very young age, there are a lot of things that could have gone wrong. Am I gonna focus on that? No, I made it out. So why would I then have self-deprecating conversations when I've done above and beyond, maybe even what my parents expected? I'm not here to be a motivational speaker. That is not the plans. I'm here based off of a question I was asked in live. How do you balance it all? Ultimately, I prioritize what I can and I don't get upset with myself. It sucks to say that we kind of do take life too seriously. And if you are within your faith, I would say lead with that. If you are a person where you can trust your gut feeling, lead with that. Also, when you haven't had family members or friends be able to build reassurance and confidence within you before you became an adult, it can be kind of difficult to trust yourself in that sense because you've never been reassured. You've never been patted on the back. You've never been looked at as highly favored or on a certain pedestal to be like, oh, well, I got people looking up to me, or I got to feed. Like, there's no way I can't do certain things. And some people thrive in that environment. Some people need that type of pressure. I'm not gonna lie, I've grown out of that pressure. I've grown out of, oh, I have to get an A. Oh, I can't go to sleep unless all of my projects are done. In hindsight, if I focused and prioritized on what needed to be done first, I wouldn't have those type of conversations. I hope that you leave this video thinking about how you can positively talk to yourself, how you can positively impact yourself. It'll bleed into the people around you. Like, you will see other people light up because they know what type of energy you bring. They know what type of person you are and what type of person you can be. And not just to them as an individual, but to everyone around you. I feel like I should give you guys assignments when I do these sit down videos. So for today's assignment, we can be interactive in the comments. But for today's assignment, instead of leading with that negative thought, I want you to leave a comment down below that says what that thought is in a positive way. So an example would be, dang, I was late for work, or dang, I spilled my coffee all over my clothes. Now I have to change my outfit. We're gonna lean into, God got me there when I needed to. Or, oh, I'm glad it was an iced coffee that fell on me and not a hot coffee. Have you ever had hot coffee spilled on you? Let's just say I have. So let's look at small things in our day-to-day life to see how can we convert our verbiage and not be so mean to ourselves. I'll leave you guys with that token, and I'm really glad we got to chat. If anything, you can follow me on TikTok. I'm a little more, let me say, outgoing there. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.